It did not feel like a strike. It felt like a door being kicked off its hinges. Just after 1:15 a.m. Eastern on February 28th, U.S. Central Command says Operation Epic Fury began. The first wave aimed at Iran's security apparatus, IRGC command and control, air defenses, missile and drone launch sites, military airfields. In Tehran, reports described explosions rolling in from the morning onward, the kind that makes people stop mid-sentence and check the sky, because your body knows what your brain is still refusing to accept. And then the headline that changes everything hit the bloodstream of the internet. Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, was dead. Iranian state media confirmed he was killed at his office in the U.S.-Israeli attacks and declared a 40-day mourning period, after early conflicting messaging from outlets that first insisted he was still directing events. The confirmation mattered because it wasn't rumor anymore. It was the state saying the center of the system had been cut out. What people want next is the simplest answer: who fired the missile? Who pulled the trigger? Modern wars do not give you that. Washington and Jerusalem have not publicly identified the specific platform that delivered the fatal strike, and even credible reporting notes that the exact who behind the single decisive hit is not confirmed in open sources. What is public is the shape of the assault. CENTCOM describes strikes launched as part of a broader campaign against Iranian military capabilities. Reuters reporting, carried widely, says the Israeli military struck several sites in Tehran where senior Iranian political and security officials were meeting, in coordinated attacks early in the morning at multiple locations. The who, you can responsibly say, based on what's published, is this: the opening blows were a joint U.S.-Israeli operation, and Israel says it hit gatherings of top figures in Tehran as part of that opening wave. The name of the individual operator stays where it always stays in a live war: classified. The strike that killed Khamenei did not land in a vacuum. Reporting described it as part of a decapitation-style opening designed to fracture command before Iran could fully organize a response. Reuters reported that Iran's defense minister, Amir Nasserzadeh, and Revolutionary Guards commander Mohammad Pakpour were believed to have been killed in the Israeli attacks, citing sources familiar with Israel's military operations and a regional source, while Israel described simultaneous strikes on gatherings of high-ranking officials. Multiple outlets also reported Israeli claims that figures such as Ali Shamkhani were among those killed or targeted in the same opening pattern. The core detail that repeats, even as names and confirmations vary, is the method. Rapid synchronized blows on leadership nodes inside Tehran. Not one strike, but a sequence meant to leave the system reaching for a phone that no longer connects. For Khamenei himself, the most concrete elements in public reporting are brutally simple. Iranian state media says he was killed at his office. Satellite imagery and reporting based on those images describe severe damage inside the Tehran compound tied to his residence and office, with multiple structures visibly collapsed or burned, a physical footprint consistent with a precision strike on a protected site. And in the hours after, even the question of proof became a battlefield. Reuters, as cited by Al Jazeera, reported an unnamed senior Israeli official said Khamenei's body had been located, but no official public release of images of his remains followed. Into that gap rushed the worst kind of content: fake certainty. The Associated Press documented AI-generated and misrepresented images spreading online, including a fabricated image falsely claiming to show Khamenei's body under rubble. This is how it goes viral for real, not because it is embellished, but because the escalation never pauses. One moment the story is a strike campaign, the next it is a head of state dead at his desk. Then it is the regime trying to hold shape while the world watches the succession question ignite like gasoline. AP reports Iran moved into a provisional arrangement with a temporary leadership council that includes President Masoud Pezeshkian, Judiciary Chief Gholam Hossein Mohseni Ejei, and cleric Alireza Arafi as the country enters a transition. And the final twist, the part that makes everything feel like it is accelerating downhill, is that none of this stays inside Iran. El Pais described the first missiles landing in Tehran, and then, within hours, regional airspace disruption and retaliation starting to ripple outward. AP describes the conflict widening beyond the US, Israel, and Iran, as strikes and counterstrikes spread across the region. The death of one man becomes the ignition point for a multi-front crisis because it turns a war of targets into a war over who is still in charge, who can still command, and who will gamble next.